We are recording, and welcome back, everybody, along the Veldt Part 9. So let's take a volunteer, or we could roll initiative or something for our first share. I think Stephanie does not have a story this week, but anybody else who does, who wants to start us off. I'm also happy to start us off if you want. I'll just start us off.
Cool. I'm writing mine up right now, so.
Okie dokie.
Well, I'll go after you, Woody.
Okay. So this week, instead of doing the intro, I have a little essay on goblins, a treatise on goblins, I would say. Okay. Goblins. Goblins are small bipedal creatures that, when full grown, stand about as tall as a human child. And in many ways, goblins are like horrible facsimiles of children. They have short attention spans, shorter tempers, shrill voices, and non-existent hygiene. Their features are strange and exaggerated by human standards, with buggy eyes, impish ears, and noses that alternate by individual between blunt and piggish or long and hawkish. And trust me, the ensuing genitative correlation is not lost to goblin kind. Goblins are not originally native to the Veldt. It is assumed that they were stowed away on early elven freighters, sharing the lowest cargoes with and feeding on other stowaway vermin, likely rats and cockroaches. And it is doubtful such appetites have much changed. Modern goblin populations have become a widespread nuisance, one which consistently pesters and parasitizes burgeoning civilities in the Veldt. Forts and baronies that can afford to usually pay good bounties for a pair of goblin ears, considering it a worthy investment. And, while it would seem a macabre joke, it is rumored that more than one earless goblin has attempted redemption of such a bounty. Goblins are named according to their affiliation with a leader, unbelievably brutal sorts, who need not necessarily be goblin kind. Absent of such structure, goblins generally claim curt, monosyllabic names which rhyme or otherwise pair with those of their miserable fellows. For example, Kritz, Blitz, Fritz. These foul creatures delight in causing mischief and mayhem, especially among the more proper humanoids. A goblin will go to great lengths, even risking grave physical harm, to disgust or disturb the proper folks they so disdain. Goblin pranks are in fact arguably their most complex and orchestrated achievements. For a goblin, causing a citizen of the crown to faint or empty their stomach is considered a great distinction. There's no better way to spell it. Goblins are horny little fuckers. Their promiscuity is legendary, and they seem to have no desire for emotional intimacy or deeper pair bonding. Marriage is a concept not present in goblin culture. The closest observed analog is more akin to sexual slavery. Even this, it is said, becomes quickly tiresome to them. There are rumors that among the most degenerate of frontier brothels, occasionally employ gobliness whores, catering to the needs of exceptionally drunken and desperate men. Such rumors include lurid details of the horrible, exotic diseases that follow such unions, and whisper at the unlikely possibility of half-goblin pups. Among their own kind, goblins breed like rabbits, though it should be noted they are much noisier and more lurid than rabbits. Their frequent and large litters are perhaps an adaptation to the fact that their reckless behavior usually spells an abrupt end to their already short lives. Their memories are likewise fleeting, and without a strong leader, they tend to lose purpose, drifting to autoerotics and other debauchery, even during the pitched heat of battle.
Holy shit.
Goblins seldom bury their dead, as they so often perish in such spectacular fashion. Goblins seldom bury their dead, as they so often perish in such spectacular fashion to render their bodies unfit for retrieval. When a goblin does die of natural causes, its kin generally prefer to use the corpse as fodder for pranks or other more immediate defilements. While some values of goblin society may seem justifiable or even rebelliously noble, such as their contempt for authority and their abhorrence for politeness, rules, or sensitivity, their insistence on vulgar, attention-seeking contrarianism has never achieved any meaningful end and is never charming. Unsurprisingly, they are neither cultural nor intellectual giants. Goblin civic and philosophy have never reached far beyond shrill name-calling, innuendo, and actual pissing contests. They have few songs or stories, and these are usually crude parodies of other popular works by humanoids. Any art tradition seems wholly absent, though they are unusually expressive with their own excrement. The mischievous and perverted tendencies of goblins can be quickly co-opted into darker directions by more powerful and far-sighted creatures. On the rare occasion one manages to corral the mercurial little beasts. While it would be a stretch of the imagination to call them brave, goblins are natural risk-takers. Some are capable fighters in their own right. What they lack in coordination or discipline, they can make up for in ferocity. And that, coupled with the fact that they have almost no grasp of consequences, makes them quite dangerous under the wrong conditions. There's no loyalty or honor among goblin kind. Killing rivals in their sleep is considered an acceptable, if somewhat unimaginative, tactic. You guys having some feedback issues right now?
I'm hearing some.
I'm hearing some too. I'm wondering what we can do about that. Maybe I need to slap my headphones in. All right, that's the end of mine.
All right. Cool. That was cool.
And that'll be in the shared folder if anybody wants to peruse that.
Nice.
Okay, who's next?
Yeah, I'll share them. Let's see here. All right. The law. There isn't much of it in the Veldt. Maybe that's why what law there is tends to be severe. Some say severity in law has its purpose, and they're right. When your forces are spread thin, your boot better kick hard when it comes around. The problem I have is with those doing the kicking. I don't trust a single one. However, someone I do care about, Vincent, is about to get kicked real hard. If a single baron in the Veldt had a moral fucking leg to stand on, then maybe they wouldn't need to hang their citizens from their walls or tear them to shreds with a river rack, like savages, who they are supposedly protecting us from, by the way. Poor Vinny. Really, it was my idea, and Vinny just really only served as a lookout. He turned himself in because he felt guilty. How was I supposed to know they'd be delivered to the orphanage? Anyway, he kept to the code. He didn't open his mouth. My name stayed sealed up in his gut like stolen pastries. Fucking laughable, the justice that is dealt in this land. Baroness Julie Woodfield captures the mastermind behind the great sausage forgery, and now she's gonna make an example. First off, I'm the fucking mastermind, and it was a pretty good idea. It just played out like shit. It starts with step one, which is to intercept a hunting party's barge just downstream from their butchering camp, take out the two hunters piloting the barge. We then sink the hunter's pork in the river using this weighted fishing net and tie the net off at Vince and I's camp downriver. Next, we load up the sawdust and old machine grease, which, by the way, Vince was paid to haul away from the lumber mill, into the meat hopper, then pilot the barge to the meat packers further downriver, where they're already expecting to get a shipment of pork to grind and pack into sausages. We shovel the red grease and sawdust mixture into the grinder. It comes out the other end looking like pork sausages. We get paid, tell them we have another shipment in the morning. Next day, bring the real pork, which has been chilled in the river overnight. Boom, paid again. Then we take the barge downriver till we're 3 miles outside of town, beach it, and hoof it to town with 2 fat sacks of corn. And it really went down like that. Fucking flawless. Our problem is that we stuck around in town too long, and people started talking about how fake sausages poisoned kids at the orphanage, and how a little boy died.
Ooh.
Vince was real fucked up about it. The way I looked at it was that kid was in for a life of pain anyway. Probably would have ended up as a slave or a soldier, not that there's a real distinction to be made there, but Vincent wasn't buying it. We got drunk and passed out, and the next morning Vince had turned himself in. And now he's doubly fucked because they have him at the water wheel rack set up, and the mob is gathered to watch the execution. My next plan is much simpler. I'm going to climb up the backside of the grain storage house and climb up into the drying racks. There, I'll start a fire, which will clearly be visible from the water wheel. By the time they all see the fire and run to put it out, I'll approach the rack, shoot the executioner if necessary, cut Vince free, and we'll run into the woods. They're bringing Vince now. I can see the posse approaching with a wagon. I better hurry. By standing on a crate, I'm able to jump up and grip onto the eaves of the storage building, and one head at a time, I inch up, my body swinging like a hanged man, until I'm positioned over the back door. From there, I'm able to get my foot onto a support beam that juts out over the door, and begin to push myself to the point where I can press down with my hands. My toes leave the beam, and I'm pushing myself up to the roof, just under the drying loft window. As I lean my body over the roof, one of the wooden shingles comes loose under my right hand, and my jaw snaps shut as my chin hits the peak of the roof. I'm falling. My feet hit the ground first and collapse in front of me as my head hurtles to the ground. When I come to, I'm flat on my back, and the sky is nearly dark. My head is throbbing, but I think of Vince and get up, eyes squinted heavily from the ache in my skull. I come around the front of the shed and I see the remains of the execution. Closer, I can see how it happened. His legs are both dislocated, giving his body an uncannily doll-like appearance. The bindings on his left wrist has degloved one of his hands, and the bones and tendons are exposed, the skin bunched up around the binding. The other arm has been torn off at the shoulder, killing him, judging by the blood loss. I look at his face and begin to weep. Each eye is punctured and the goo now spread, drying down the sides of his face like tears. His mouth has been stuffed with the sausages. I think about the good citizen who must have noticed the subpar quality of the sausages and redirected them to the orphanage. I think about the Baroness back at her manor, ready to receive the goodwill and popularity she will have reaped from the execution. My knife is out, and I'm cutting Vince off the rack when one of the Baroness's men stops me. "What are you doing, you wretch?" He stands with his feet planted. "Burying this man," I reply. "You ought to leave him rot. Let the animals pick him over. You know what he did?" I ignore him and get back to cutting. I hear him scoff and walk off, his armor clacking back towards town. Now, you tell me who's more deserving of wrath.
Nice. That was cool.
Nice.
You got one, Jerry?
Yeah, I got
cool, Fergus.
Lay it on us.
Mine is not as cool as Fergus's. Okay. The law. There isn't much of it in the Veldt. Maybe that's why what law there is tends to be severe. Some say severity in law has its purpose. What do I think? You asked, so I'll tell you. The wealthy make the law. I know because I was there momentarily. Do they uphold it? Hell no. The law in the Veldt is concerned only with keeping the wealthy rich, and therefore in power. And what do they do with such power? They get richer. In case you've been living on some blue planet in the farthest reaches of the cosmos, devoid of any sort of magical crystalline substance, you're probably aware that somnium is the most precious material known to humanoid kind. It's imperative for the powers that be to hoard this commodity, else they lose their power. And how do they achieve this? With the severity of law. The process of extraction is not only a lost art, it's now rumored to have never existed at all. Much like a dead language, the ones who know it are simply the ones who use it. The same ones that profit from it. And you bet your ass they aren't sharing that secret. That's why the most severe laws may also seem the most arbitrary. They're protecting a secret process that isn't supposed to exist. And what do you suppose the punishment is for the breaking of such severe law? Life behind bars? No. People like that nitwit hillbilly with the dozen kids, these people are never heard from again, and death is not severe enough. So what happens to them? I have my thoughts on the matter, It involves ancient rituals and unlimited test subjects.
Nice. That was awesome.
As far
That was really good.
All right, Langdon, bring us home.
I just started writing it like a few minutes ago, so it's not quite even as polished out as those two are. So, here goes. The law. There isn't much of it in the Veldt. Maybe that's why what law there is tends to be severe. Some say severity in law has its purpose. What do I think? You asked, so I'll tell you. First, the one thing you must understand, the law is purpose. Without the laws of this new empire, without its guiding hand, its pervasive and perverse reach, the Veldt, as you know it, would be nothing more than an icy mud puddle. You wouldn't be here. You wouldn't have traveled here, and you sure as hell wouldn't have survived here. Do you think it's dangerous now? Ha! The Tall Order, the first band of the High Elf explorers to reach the Veldt, culled this continent. They established the tradition of severe punishments for existing outside the law and within the world of chaos. And they were so close. It could have all been so beautiful, so rightfully ordained. You must wonder about the quagmire you see before you. It wasn't until the races of men began traversing the sea and populating this new land did lawlessness finally push back. But in time, men will come the way of the Mer. They always do. Until then, severe punishment is a required reminder of the straight and glorious path we're promised ahead.
Oh, that was great. I really love the character voice in these pieces. It's really cool, and I was hoping for that with this prompt, obviously, but yeah, I'm into it.
I couldn't remember Andy's character's name.
Simon.
Simon. That's it.
Dude, you just said his name.
Yeah. By the way, you're banned from mentioning it. No pressure, Caitlin. But if you don't want to, you don't have to. But if you want to, like, just give us a little, like, just improvise, like, just some casual thoughts on what Stephanie's relationship with the law is like.
Yeah, here I started writing something, as I mentioned, and then it just kind of like falls into nothing after one paragraph. But
that's fine.
Let's do it. The law. There isn't much of it in the Veldt. Maybe that's why what law there is tends to be severe. Some say severity in law has its purpose. What do I think? You ask, so I tell you. It's a fucking joke, yeah? Look, people are gonna break the law. Some for fun, but most for need. You think it's right to scar a kid for wanting to eat? Of course not. You think anyone in power ever thought of that? Of course not. Whew, that's it.
All right.
That's as far as we made that prompt.
No, I like it though. Gives us the flavor. Okay. And with that, we move to resume our narrative here and enter on. Let's get a little closer up view here. Okie dokie. Baron Julius Gladwell stands on a raised wooden platform. He looks at you intensely, a strange and stern look of mock welcome on his face. His red coat is crisp under golden pauldrons, not a single wisp of felt raised in rebellion. The Baron's large mustache is neatly groomed, framing his curt mouth and strong chin on either side. Get a little zoom in on the Baron here for this. Okay, that'll work. In total, he cuts a regal but menacing figure by the light of the open brazier, here in the uncanny deep. His polished white boots stand on the same red carpet seen in the manor, and a wide wooden lectern is positioned at the front of his platform, giving it the appearance of a pulpit and he of some dark preacher. Leading down from the platform, a carpeted ramp rests on polished stone. A mix of old masonry and newer wood walls frame the entirety of the stone dais. So that's a little zoom out here. Okay. 4 large wrought iron cages are positioned along the walls. Through the closing portcullis behind you, you can still hear the shrill screams and the sickening rattle of the somnambulant dead as they greedily consume their baron's gift. And after a few more bright red flashes beam through the iron gate and a few more rattles sound in the deep, there is silence. Noxious fumes hang in the air, a gratuitous reminder of their fiery feeding frenzy and of your narrow escape. So, as the teeth of the portcullis gate clang shut, the faces of the Baron's red guardsmen glower in your direction, polearms and arrows at the ready. The Baron speaks. Welcome to my deep retreat. I believe you all have some property that belongs to me, and I'd have that property returned now. The guards step forward, and they have with them a chest that they open up. This is going to be our chest. A big, like, chest capped in iron bars here, and they drop it at your feet. And they've also got this harquebus wand pointed at you, I'll add. So, yeah, Jerry, let's start with you.
Go ahead. Give him the mouse man.
I don't think it's the mouse man that they're after. I think that the Baron here thinks that he's got himself new.
Enough talk. Put my shit in the box.
We don't have anything that belongs to you.
All right, search him.
I'm gonna stop and go. Okay, all right, Baron. I admit it. We were searching. I was searching around the upstairs, trying to hunt down some of these mouse men, and I did find this very nice spyglass. Which, yes, I did trade out for my own. I apologize, and I'm going to take out the spyglass and put it into the the chest in front of me.
Good. And the guards, they move forward and they have spears and arrows trained on you. One of them is manning the harquebus wand, and he says, drop your weapons to the floor. Drop your weapons to the floor or die.
Okay. I'll use my pickaxe.
I'll drop my rapier.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll drop both my rapier and my bow.
The guards collect up, they collect your weapons and they pile them into this big treasure chest. And after they have your weapons, they put spears to your throats and hold them. And some of them are wielding axes. But they have you under the knife and under the harquebus wand is the general point. And they start.
I didn't realize I was muted.
Oh yeah.
Sorry. I want to try to stand behind the Baron and see if he'll accept me into his. I don't want to be a part of this. I want to keep my weapons. I want to stand behind him. We've got history.
All right, you start to step towards the Baron, and the guards. You kind of step forward, and the guards press on you, pressing a spear to your throat. And the Baron says, "The Baron speaks. Oh, Stephanie, I think you don't understand what's going on here. I have to say, you were an invigorating departure from my normal fare, but for me, a confirmation that I do prefer farm-raised flesh over wild game like yourself."
Dick.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Laughter aside, I spit at the Baron.
You're a good distance from the Baron, but your spit is noted.
Thank you.
And the guards start to rummage through and take your possessions and pile them in the box. And so effectively, your possessions, you just have the clothes on your person at this point. They take the box and they close it up, putting a large iron lock on it. And then the guards carry the box up to the watchtower sitting behind the Baron. where strung up beneath the watchtower there is a pulley system. They lock the chest onto the pulley, and then they haul up and tie off so that the box is suspended several stories up, hanging beneath the walkway of the watchtower, that the guard tower that looks over this little complex. And the Baron
That was
says,
the chest. That was the chest they put all our weapons in.
yes, but actually I forgot to mention, so they pile the weapons in, they clip it onto that thing, but you see the Baron remove a few objects from the chest before he hauls it up. And why don't everybody take a perception check?
Okay.
I got 6.
12.
20.
Okay, so Langdon, your keen elven eyes spy a considerable amount of somnium inside that chest, along with other objects that you can't see. And you see him withdraw some somnium, and he places it on the lectern, and he also withdraws some manacles and some other strange-looking iron gear. And as the men haul up the box up into the air, the Baron says, "That's just one little precaution so that our friends don't get too excited." He then says, "I've taken some other precautions as well." I gotta scroll up here for a second. As the guards return, you see that the guards that are looking at you, they are really in rough-looking shape. They're kind of like, their faces are all stretched and snarled in a rage. They look crazed. They look like bloodthirsty. They want to kill you. They seem like they can hardly hold themselves back from doing so. And seeing your concern at this situation, the Baron speaks and he says, "You must pardon the men. They are impassioned at seeing their Baron's honor besmirched. I need to relinquish my stability." And he holds up a little bit of pancake and chews a little bit of pancake. And as he's chewing, "Nor will my red company dishonor me with any rash or regrettable acts of foolish initiative." And at this announcement, the guards sort of step back a little bit. They get the message. "Forgive me, my guardsmen are not as accustomed to betrayal such as yours." He looks out from his perch there up on his lectern, and his face looks cold in the light of the brazier. "Witness my countenance. I am not surprised by it. Wise men in my position have long ago come to expect no better from men in yours. I'm not angry with you. Despite your transgressions, you remain my guests, though you have now pressed my graciously opened hand into a fist." And as he closes his fist, the guards reach out with the butts of their polearms and gut you, basically, hit you. And I'm going to roll an attack on each of you here. And I'm going to take advantage. I'm definitely going to take advantage. I'm going to roll a blanket attack there, too, for that. So they hit you in the guts. You get some subdual damage. 6 subdual damage, in fact, as the wind is knocked out of your body. And they clearly gesture you to reach your knees or pay dearly. So, what do you do?
Besmirched transgressions. Baron, what is the meaning of this? And not literally. I understand the terms besmirched and transgressions. I mean, elaborate. What exactly are we being held here for?
You seem quite distressed, elf. Perhaps I can give you something to calm your nerves. He steps down and he says, "But first, a quick precaution." And he distributes some manacles to his guards. And the guards quickly put your hands forced behind your back, and they clap them in manacles. And after doing so, he withdraws these other strange wrought iron pieces that he has. It's like a large ring and it has spaces for a lock on either side. And then they clip these around your neck. And he has these little canisters. Yeah, interjection.
Oh, can we add that to our inventory then?
Yeah, totally. So you have hand manacles each. He locks these things around your neck, and then he has these little cylinders, and in each cylinder he puts pieces of somnium. Then they slide in and lock on your necks, so they're kind of pressed against your Adam's apples, or where an Adam's apple would be, I guess. And he says, another precaution. And then he moves backwards, and in front of his little dais there is some kind of a stone rack. Looks like it's made of very aged sandstone, and it appears to be kind of part of the construction of the stone walls that are part of the this whole thing is this whole dais that's raised up out of the cavern. Part of it seems very old construction, and part of it seems like it was built by the Baron or his men. And he moves to this, and he says, "I should offer you something to drink."
I'm gonna whisper into Dr. Cumberbund's ear. Finally, the wine.
And
I told you.
Along this long stone rack, there are honeycomb chambers, and they're filled with bottles. And he withdraws in one of these bottles, and he starts to walk towards you, and he says, "Normally I would serve fresher libations, but I'm afraid I've run a bit short of my supply of late. Instead, you'll be sampling quite a rare vintage." And he hands the bottle to a guard, and it's has very strange craftsmanship. It's like has a very long, thin neck, and then a very wide, round body, which is kind of twisted. It's like nothing you've ever seen. And each bottle is capped with, this bottle is capped with a bright red wax top. And the guard in front of you, he uses his knife to manipulate the cap a little bit. He pops it off, and then there's kind of a fizz. And he says, "We inherited these, I guess you could call it wine, from the previous tenants of this place, whoever the hell they may have been. We don't know how old they are, hundreds of years, thousands of years. But we find that they have curious effects on those who drink them." And the Baron's gestures behind him, and he kind of snaps his fingers, and you see him whistle. He goes, and all of a sudden 2 large forms emerge from under that you didn't previously see. They emerge from under the watchtower, and you see 2 impossibly massive Rottweiler guard dogs kind of come out at the beckoning of the Baron. And he says, "First we tested them on the dogs, and, well, you can see the effect. My big boys got real big." And with that, I think we need to pass around a little dialogue here. So I'm going to go to...
Wait, can I use my knowledge of various tinctures and potions and bullshit to maybe proceed?
Yeah, and I'm going to put you on our role play timer here, so go ahead and act it out a bit as you're... tell me your results and everything, but tell me your methods. What's your thought process?
It fizzes. The bottles are indeed old. 17 is what I rolled.
So you don't recognize this kind of glasswork. It seems very ornate and very atypical of the kind of crude facilities that are usually throughout the frontier. The strange kind of circumstances of this place and the this kind of ruined architecture, it runs your imagination into a frenzy, and you have no idea. I mean, the possibilities are sort of endless. It's total unknown territory, but you can tell by the look of it that there's no way to know how old it might be. A bottle under these conditions could last almost indefinitely.
It's vintage.
All right, and yes, and then he motions to Stephanie. He says, "I think it's appropriate that Stephanie has the first sip, given her proclivities." After all, I found the Red Prince in one of these bottles.
Oh,
And yeah, the guard grabs your face and starts to like, they're trying to force you to drink this. We're gonna have 2 guards here on you, trying to force you.
yeah,
to
that's fine. I drink it. Wait, so it just like made the dogs really strong? I'm on board. I'm drinking this.
It made these dogs
huge and strong and awesome.
Yeah,
Drugs
Stephanie
are
would also like to be huge and strong and awesome, and is not the wisest of gals, so she's just drinking.
I should mention, Stephanie, seeing your enthusiasm, that the effects we've witnessed on men have not been as positive.
Oh.
It seems that
I still think
the beast metabolisms are slightly different. And with that, they start pouring this stuff down your throat, and it just tastes awful, like death and like mercury. I don't know. And you start to choke on it, and you quickly fall backwards into a delirium of nausea and strange, hallucinations. And as you do so, they drag you off towards one of the cells. The Baron whistles, and the dogs go back and underneath the hanging treasure, and they're hanging out there. And strangely, Stephanie, as you are being pulled away, you are experiencing all these lights and kind of ghost sounds and kind of double vision. But as you're being pulled towards your cell, you feel like you can almost see where you're going to go before you get there. Like you see this blur almost, like, as if it was like a reverse tracer.
Okay.
And they drag you off and they toss you, they open the door to this cell and they toss you inside. And you land kind of in a heap, in a stupor. And the Baron says, "Bottoms up, who's next?"
Can I do a check again, knowing what I know about how it affected Stephanie?
You could, but I'll just tell you that you're not going to have any further knowledge of what's going on here. It's definitely some kind of magical potion. And you're suspicious that it's at least related to the nasty activities. That much seems apparent. But you don't have any further insights. Maybe no one does. I mean, obviously the Baron doesn't even know what's going on with this stuff. So let's, I'm going to give a role-playing timer to Langdon here.
Now, Baron, I applaud you for finally locking up that dirty wench, that sideshow Stephanie. She was no good, and she did not belong to my party. She hardly pulled her weight, hardly saved my life, and I applaud you for finally getting rid of her. Now, the rest of us, Dr. Cumberbund, myself, and, well, I suppose Mr. Duster here, we're not the worst of your comrades. We did not drink your supply of liquid back in the upstairs. That was Stephanie, and Stephanie forced it down Jerry's throat. Now, I think that we can all be reasonable here and understand that there might be a little bit of a misunderstanding.
He, as you're talking, he kind of slowly ambles up and back up to his lectern. He carefully takes a polished silver knife and he cuts another piece of pancake, dipping it generously in syrup and inserting it into his mouth. And he says, "All right, skip the elf. Put him in a cell." And they don't force feed you the juice. But they do take you over here and they toss you into a cell along with 2 very sickly looking prisoners.
Other fucking wine-ass.
And
how sickly are they looking? Are they like, do they have like
they're
really
pale and gaunt.
skin?
They're pale and gaunt, and they like basically are like sitting listlessly in the corner. They have the same kind of like, restraints you do. They're manacled behind their back, and then they have this iron thing with a little canister on their neck. And as they toss you in there, you see that one of them is just like basically flat out on the ground, and then the other one is like just like kind of head lolling, like he's like hardly there. And the Baron says,
What
I
real
think
quick,
they're
what
done.
color are their eyes?
They're just like they look normal, but they're just all droopy, and like they look just like they look sick. You know, they look like they've been starved and like, you know, abused basically. And
Okay, I was just checking because they say eyes are the windows to the soul, so you know.
the Baron says, take those ones out, they're cooked. And as the guards go in, you see them removing the manacles from these two prisoners and removing the piece from their neck, and they walk out and they lock you in there. These two prisoners they're unrestrained now, but they're just like kind of like they just look burnt out basically. They look stuporous. And then let's give a turn here to Dr. Cumber or to Jerry. Jerry, the guards start to force you to drink this strange substance.
Now hold on just a minute. Now I know what you're trying to do here, Baron. Aren't you curious as to what I may or may not know?
Make him drink it, and they start forcing you to drink it. You do swallow it down, and immediately after swallowing it, you begin to vomit, and you vomit all over yourself, and you vomit all down the front of your shirt, and then with a like head-splitting headache, you basically pass out from pain, and they drag you over, and they toss you in a cell here. They toss you in this cell. Oh, last but not least, do you have any gob you want to let loose before we give you something to drink?
Well, I've tried to identify what it is you're forcing us to drink, and I'm sure it's not good, but I can't tell what it is. So, always one for exploration. Let me give it a try. I want to try and grab a bottle.
Well, your hands are behind your back, so you kind of make a motion.
Okay.
And the Baron says, well, I like your attitude anyways. And they pour some of this down your throat. You drink it up.
Wait. I want to try and use a old trick that I've got for swigging shit that I shouldn't drink and not actually swallowing it.
Okay. Well, how are you going to do that? What's your relevant?
Well, essentially be like holding it in my mouth while looking like I'm swallowing it.
Okay.
Like a sleight of hand type thing?
Yeah.
Let's do a, I think that might be a charisma check of some type.
I think sleight of hand dexterity, isn't it?
Yeah, but I don't know if this is quite sleight of hand. I mean, obviously it's not sleight of hand, but
partially sleight of hand, partially probably dexterity, and like looking like you're swallowing without swallowing.
Sleight of mouth, dude.
Sleight of mouth.
Okay, well let's do how did we do a dual check before? We just kind of like rolled one, and then the other one was to give it like a bonus or something.
It could just be a charisma-based sleight of hand check, because he might have ranks in sleight of hand, but it could just be charisma-based instead of dex-based.
Yeah, I'm gonna declare in this instance that it's a charisma-based check. So go ahead and roll on a charisma check for this.
Oh, I got an 8.
You kind of do this thing, but you spill all this stuff like over yourself, and so kind of seeing through your ruse, they grab your throat and they pry your jaws open and they shove this stuff down and hold your mouth and your nostrils until you swallow. And when you do swallow, it is like the spiciest thing you've ever like tasted, and it just like erupts in your nostrils, like start some mucus out of your nostrils. Your tears are streaming down your face, and you start screaming uncontrollably. It's just like hot. And as they drag you off, you're spice level too high, and they throw you in this cell. And with that, if you are in a conscious state enough to witness it, the Baron says. The Baron starts to dig into his pancakes when there's a knock at the gate over here, and some little gobberlings are trying to get in. Let us in! Baron! Baron! And the guards... Baron! The guards let these little goblins in, and one of them has the telltale patch over the eye that you've seen before. Is my camera switching? Here we go.
Just switched, yeah.
Cool wipe.
And cool wipe, dude. And he steps forward, and the Baron motions for him to come forward. He says, "I've got 2 more for you. They're almost entirely cooked." And then the goblin's just like, they're just like very excited to get to whatever they're getting to. And you see them go over to the cell that Langdon's being held in, and they move into Langdon's cell. 2 of them flank the door, and one of them stands over the better looking of the 2 prisoners, that are the 2 sick prisoners. And the one with the eye patch gets close, and he starts to bend over and intently gaze, and he kind of starts to sway back and forth over the prisoner that looks like it's in a little better shape. The other prisoner's just like passed out on the floor, just like looks spent, looks defeated in spirit and in body. And the goblin kind of starts moving this motion. Then he abruptly turns around and he farts into the prisoner's face, just blowing this thing. And Langdon, the smell of it is almost unbearable. And after a cackle or 2 and a sigh from the Baron, who rubs his head and his hands up there on the lectern, the goblin starts, he basically gets on all 4s, and he's kind of moving around this prisoner. And after a time, he sort of like, kind of like makes this guttural sound, and he opens up his eye patch, and from his empty eye socket, a somnium gem drops out, and he scoops it up and walks out. They lock the door, and he carries the gem up to the Baron. And after you witness this pulling, this one prisoner just like falls backwards exhausted. He's on the ground like the other one. And the goblins and the Baron, they climb the ladder up this watchtower, and they I think that were you conscious, Jeff? Langdon?
Yeah. Uh-huh.
You can see as they go up, they board an elevator platform, and they rise up kind of into the darkness to who knows where. But there's basically an elevator at the top of this watchtower about 2 stories up, and they kind of raise, and they are disappeared. And so let's take some turns around here. What's our initiative? Do we want to roll for it, or you just want to go for oh, whoops. Or do we just want to take it at the top of the order here with Jerry?
Makes sense for you, like with the screen at the top.
All right, let's start with Jerry.
Okay, so am I now not unconscious?
Jerry, sometime later, you awake in the darkness, and you're in this iron cage, and you see 2 slightly familiar faces. You recognize them from a few days ago. This is the Chopper brothers, 2 of the lumberjacks that you met when they were having their dispute over the border. And this is Arnaud and Pierre. And they're both kind of beat up, and they're both manacled like you are.
Okay. Oh, I guess I'll attempt to...
You all right there, friend?
Yeah, Arnaud, Pierre, how did you get here?
Last I remember, we were kidnapped by goblins, and that awful big one that they call... What was it? And they whisper to each other a little bit. Skullfucker Grizz.
I've heard that name before. I don't quite understand what's going on here. I know those look like the same goblins that were attacking us in the Baron's manor, even. They nearly destroyed it. I don't know. I don't really see how they could be connected with the Baron.
The Baron, that son of a bitch, he's in league with the goblins. He's been taking people off of the river as slaves, milking them for everything they're worth. And then he tosses them down into that pit when they're all done with. Look at those two over there. Looks like they're about milked dry. And he motions to the cage that Langdon is being kept in.
Well, have you two managed to figure out if there's any sort of potential way out of here?
Nothing so far. We can't move. Our hands are bound. Besides, where would we go?
True. Did he force feed you that awful liquid?
Oh, yeah. Sorry about that, by the way. And they gesture to a big pile of diarrhea in the corner.
Have you noticed any profound effects? I saw the dogs he fed it to were quite large.
Worst hangover I ever had. Well, second worst, maybe. And then our note says, worst shits I ever had. Better not talk. The guards are coming. And you see one of the guards in red uniform kind of marches by and looks on you and kind of eyeballs you curiously before like kind of taking a little perch there. And with this, we move to Dr. Cumberbund. And Dr. Cumberbund, you likewise kind of come to and see some familiar faces. Looks like the Cropper brothers, Marco and Luca, the farmers that you met before. Oh,
Am I in the same?
Friend?
Am I in the same cell as them?
You're in the same cell as the Cropper brothers, the farmers, Marco and Luca. You recognize them from the pancake gathering a few days ago.
Oh, the Farmer brothers.
Yeah, the Cropper brothers.
The Cropper brothers. All right.
You're probably confusing us with the Chopper brothers, the lumberjacks.
Yeah, it was. I mean, I'm sure you get that all the time.
All the fucking time.
Yeah, well, I mean, who named it first doesn't really matter, at this point. Let's see.
I'm sorry to see you in here, friend. I'm afraid it's the end for us.
Did they make you drink that shit too?
No.
No.
I don't know. They didn't make us drink it. I think it might have just slipped their minds, honestly.
Well, then you can help us because you're lucid. All right, I'm feeling a little woozy.
I wish there was something we could do for you, but our hands are literally tied.
Do I still have Timerius stowed away?
Yeah. Where is he? He's tucked away in your clothes, right?
Yeah.
You start pinching away for him, and you don't find him though. You're not sure where he is.
I thought I had a little.
He got lost somewhere in the snuffle.
Have you gathered any information about what's going on down here?
We don't know much. We just know that the Baron's got these guards hooked on nasty, and if you think things are bad when he's here, they get a lot fucking worse when he leaves. And as Marco says this, you see one of the guards walk up to the cage and he starts screaming, "Shut the fuck up! You shut the fuck up in there! You want to keep talking, you're gonna get fucked up!" And
I said to him,
Luca,
what are you gonna do? Stab us while we're in here?
No, I think I've got a better idea, actually, smart ass. And you see him, he whips open the door to the cage, and he drags you out. And he throws you onto the stone, kind of in the middle here. And I got my camera on you there. Can't tell which one I'm using.
I can't really tell.
Let me swap. Oh. He drags you out and tosses you onto the ground, the cold stone there, and he says, "We don't have to play so nice while the Baron's away." And he takes his, like the blunt end of his axe there, and he gives you another go in the guts. And I'm gonna have him make an attack roll on you, and I'm gonna definitely give him an advantage since you're tied up the way you are. So he hits you. I'm assuming. I mean, it's 18, and gives you 5 subdual damage as he boink, like blocks you.
All right.
Am I watching this?
Yeah. You can see what's going on.
Can I shout out to them?
Yes.
Well, that's hardly fair. Who are you, big man, or scared child? Maybe you should have a fair fight, huh?
He's right. He's right.
Another guard comes up. He says, "Well, I don't think that's such a bad idea." And you see, let's go for another round, eh, boys? Who's taking wagers? And they all kind of assemble, and they start to kind of pass a coin back and forth, and I don't know, little bits of jerky or something. And you see them, 2 guards go by the entrance to Langdon's little cage there. They open it up, and they say, I think the bun's about to come out of the oven. Let's make it an even 2 versus 2. And the guards open the door, and then they go up to the platform here, and they all kind of stand on the platform. And as they go up, they the last couple guards, they peel back this carpet, and then they lift this plank and kind of set it up behind them, so that they're kind of raised up on this platform. And the door to Langdon's cell is open, and Dr. Cumberbund is over here on his knees, and then you see them wrestling with something. They bring down the big treasure chest thing, and they kind of are rummaging through it, and then they sling it back up. And Langdon, you make a perception check.
Ooh, nat 20.
Natural 20, okay. The door's wide open for you here. The 2 sorry-looking souls in your cell, they're like, they're like out of commission. Basically, you're being invited open. I won't say to what end. And everyone, there's kind of this like tension in the air as everybody's waiting for something to happen.
Cool. I'm gonna walk out of my cell and go up to Dr. Cumberbund.
Okay.
And I'll say, well, which is it? To the guards.
The guards kind of look at each other, and one of them kind of coughs. They look like they're expecting something to happen that's not happening. And then one of them says, "What's taking so fucking long?" And then they're all kind of shrugging. And then all of a sudden you hear an ear-piercing scream from behind you. As one of the prisoners in the cell there pops up, its eyes darting open, red energy blasting out. And the other one quickly follows, this big scream, and you see them stand up, and they start to emerge from the cell here. And they're coming towards you. Their red eyes fixed on your choker bait necklaces. And you've got your hands tied behind you here, and these hollow men exit from their cell, and these ones are, as I mentioned before, unmanacled and unchokered. So we're going to give you guys a round here of action. Dr. Cumberland, starting with you.
I'm gonna run back to the brazier there behind Langdon and try and gouge the bindings, I guess. Wait,
Okay.
are they like iron manacles?
Yes, they are.
Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna try and get one of the chain links over the pointy part of that brazier and try and pull down on it with my weight and try and break it.
Trying to break the manacle or the
chain.
Oh, yeah. So basically they're like two, I picture them in like some medieval, French prison or something. But they're pretty heavy duty. You're probably not going to be able to break them this way.
Okay. How does one ignite the arquebus wand cannon there?
By manipulating it with their hands on the crystals.
Mm-hmm.
On the crystal, like there's a little crystal right here that is, and this one is charged.
Okay. Let's see. Yeah, I guess instead of doing that, if that's not at all feasible,
you could reach around with behind your back and fire off a blast off of it.
Yeah, I'm gonna tell him that I'll aim if you manipulate.
Okay.
If you charge it, I'll aim it.
Deal. Let's do it. I'm gonna move over to the wand there.
And you hear one of the guards say, "Oh shit, we left the wand down there." And so what are you doing? You're going to try to... So what? Just announce your action. Why don't we start with you, Langdon?
Okay.
I'm gonna try to use my body weight to spin it back towards the guards.
Okay.
So it's pointing the guards.
All right,
okay.
So you, I'd say just make an attack roll. I'm going to call that an attack roll.
I got a 17. Do I add anything to it?
That's good enough. So you start pushing against this thing, and you spin it around so it generally faces the guards.
And I'll say, "Now, boy, fire!"
I'll fire it.
Okay. Yeah, so make an attack roll, Fergus. I'm going to have you also basically roll against failure here.
I got 15.
Okay, so you reach around and manage to get your hands on the ignition crystal, and you fiddle with it a little bit, and boom, a blast rolls out, and all the guards duck for cover. So make a... You definitely fired it into their midst, so I'm going to just give them dexterity checks to try to, evade, basically. All right, two of them jump out of the way, kind of going to the rear of the platform here, and one of them steps backwards. But these two pretty much get a face full of hot somnium as it shoots out and explodes. And so go ahead and roll. I can roll damage for them, I suppose. Yeah, you go ahead and roll 2d6 damage to distribute on these guys.
2d6.
Seems right.
10.
Okay, so you blast these guards, and they're singed and knocked backwards onto their feet. Their fellows rush in to attend to them here. And then while the ones up on top, you hear a voice coming down from the watchtower, and they say, "Get on the ground right now or you're toast."
You had you'd mentioned that did they bring down the chest full of stuff or what?
They pulled something out of it, and then they pulleyed it back up to hang. It's hanging below the right here below the watchtower.
Okay, gotcha.
Hey, Woody, can I get in on the initiative here? There's some stuff I want to do while there's combat going on.
Yeah.
Okay. I guess just let me know whenever you want. Wherever you want.
So yeah, it can be your turn here. We can join you in the initiative.
I want to try and attempt to free the shaker's paw from my belt.
Okay.
And so I don't know if I would need to try and free up my hands more first, or if it's reachable, it'd probably be at my side.
Yeah, I think it's kind of tucked into your pants, basically, or in your belt there. Yeah. So you can reach it and manipulate it with your hands. It's in reach.
Okay. So I'm going to untie it from where it was hanging on my belt. And what I want to do is try and I don't know if I'd be able to attempt to make some sort of charisma check to influence it to try and free the somnium from my neck.
You won't be able to influence it in any way that you know of, but well, let's go ahead and make a charisma check.
I got an 11.
Yeah, you're kind of manipulating this thing, and it kind of as you're kind of rousing it, it starts to kind of scratch up on you. It seems to it's pointing in the direction of your little your somnium cylinder on your neck of your little choker there.
Okay.
And one of the Chopper brothers looks at you and says, "What the hell is that thing?"
Oh, don't worry about that. It's on our side, and it's just a memento of a former acquaintance of mine.
Get that thing away from me! I'm going to be sick. And with that, I think we'll move to Stephanie, who is starting to rouse. And Stephanie, you see, you kind of rouse, and you see that you also have a cellmate, and you recognize this as Reinhardt's daughter, Francesca, and she looks in not very good shape. She is her clothing is kind of tattered. She has bruises about her face, and she has her makeup's all stained on her face, and she has a slightly different piece of hardware on. Instead of wrapping around her neck, this one actually goes around her head, and it appears to hold a cylinder of somnium inside of her mouth.
Oh, so a ball gag with somnium.
Like a ball gag with the somnium in there, yeah.
All right.
And you can see that she's been crying, but she kind of comes over to attend to you as you wake up, basically.
Okay. Do I still have weird future vision tracers, or not so much?
Not so much.
Okay. All right. Well,
are you okay? Are you okay?
are you okay? I'm fine, thank you. And I sit up and brush myself off and look around, and do I see the fight that's going on, or?
Yeah, you can see that there's obviously some shit going on. There's a lot of action. And with that, we're going to try to keep things at a clip, and we're going to go back to Dr. Cumberbund here. Dr. Cumberbund, you've been instructed under a man with a wand and an archer to basically drop your shit. And despite this fact, these two takers are coming up behind you here.
All right. I'm going to use, well, actually, I'm going to run up behind to my left there and duck behind the desk there.
Okay. So make a dexterity check as you dive for cover behind the lectern.
13.
All right, so you dart past the brazier and you duck down. Are you on your how you want to be postured?
I'll take a knee there just so I'm out of range of the archer.
Sure. Okay. So you're ducked in behind there, and Langdon.
I want to do the same thing. I want to run over and check it out with my boy. I rolled a nat 1.
All right, so you also leap over to do so, and you kind of clip the brazier on your way over, and you fall, and this thing spills over you, spilling hot coals over your legs. And yeah, I'm going to roll some damage for that. All right, as the hot coals spill over you, you take 4 fire damage as this thing basically lands in your lap here.
Ah! Wait, no, I don't scream.
Okay.
I hold my tongue.
And yeah, there's a kind of the fire forms and spills in a little pile right there. And I think that we're going to go to the guards order now. Just
so I can think ahead, what is the thing around our neck made out of, or what's the deal with it again?
Wrought iron, but it's got a thinner piece of metal that's basically there's a little cavity for it, and it's sort of inserted. I have kind of a real crude picture of it here. I can show you guys.
Yeah, I'd love to see a picture because I'm having a hard time visualizing it.
Yeah. So basically, what the Baron has done is he's fitted you with these little collars that contain somnium, and if you ponder the possibilities of that, it's likely kind of a security measure so that if you escape, the shakers below will basically rip your throat out in order to chase after the somnium contained inside. So this is a little security measure of his, and one that the guards are currently taking advantage of for their sport. These recently turned shakers are after you guys to basically get the somnium around your necks.
Sure.
Okay, and along those lines, as you guys duck behind there, the archers up here, they fire off their cannon and aiming at the lectern. And that is a natural 20. So they hit this lectern, and it just explodes into pieces, blowing wood splinters and pancake batter. Not pancake batter, but bits of pancake onto you guys. Doesn't deconstruct the pancake. It's not that good. So yeah, you guys are kind of kneeling below this platform, somewhat covered, but more exposed than before. And you see this guard here, the nearest guard attending to his kind of bleeding fellow. One of them points a bow down and lets an arrow loose down at you, Langdon. And miraculously misses you. You manage to roll out of the way. And so we are going to move to Jerry.
Okay. Since the Shaker's Paw failed to assist me in escaping here, I'm going to address the Pancake Brothers. And yeah, I got an idea how we can get out of here during all this craziness.
We're not the Pancake Brothers, we're the Chopper Brothers. Get it?
That's right.
We're lumberjacks. We chop things, okay?
I can appreciate that. It's just, I was so impressed with your pancakes that, anyway, that's not important right now. The important part is I got to plan how we're going to get out of here.
Okay, well, let's hear it.
It involves, all right, well, one of you needs to be standing up by the door, right next to the lock. Get your face right up next to there. And then you, the other one, come with me to this opposite corner.
Okay, yes, of course. We do it, okay. And so
okay.
They arrange themselves in the way you're describing. So Arnaud stands near the door. What do you want him to do?
And then I just want him to stand by the door, and then the other one needs to come with me to the back corner of the cage. and I'm going to tell him to get close to my hands, so that I can touch the stone.
Okay.
And I'm going to go ahead and charge the stone on his collar and shove him away so that it explodes, and it explodes the one next to the door too.
Okay. I see what you're doing here. And we can see this is what you did, but just for the added detail, like you're gonna have to like manipulate both of the stones in order to do this, but you can just, with that knowledge aside, we'll say that that's what you do. Like you touch the first stone and then you like touch the second stone, you know?
Oh, I didn't know I had to touch both of them.
Yeah, you kind of got to like sync them up here or whatever. Okay, so you do that, and then you have this guy Arnaud standing by the door. And you see that Arnaud is standing by the door. They're ready for whatever your instruction is, and we're going to cut back to that situation. But we're going to move to Stephanie.
All right. Will you remind me of the name of the woman who I'm in a cell with?
Her name is Francesca. You found her little locket in the...
Yeah.
And you weren't here for this session, but she's the daughter of Reinhardt, the old hunter who now runs the public house near the river.
Okay. Francesca, stay still. And then I can move, and I want to try to walk up behind her. And even though my hands are behind her back, I should be able to maneuver enough to undo whatever ball gag situation, right? Can I try that?
Yeah, we'll let you try anyways. We'll do a dexterity check for that to try to kind of like rearrange this thing.
Yeah, okay. Oh, and it's on the floor, but it's a 12.
You kind of get it slipped around, and it's partway out of her mouth. You think that it's going to take another try to get it fully out, but you can take another action, and let's go for another try on that.
Okay, all right.
We're going to do an effort. Let's do an effort check on this one. So we're going to say that there's 3 effort you need to meet. So basically, you'll need to beat the check, and then I'll let you roll a d6. And once you've done 3 efforts worth, you can get this thing rearranged so it comes out of her mouth.
Okay.
So roll again.
Oh, so I got a. Yeah, I got a 4 this time though. So.
Okay, no dice yet. She goes, oh! She
yeah.
kind of crunch and you know, cause her to like their tongue or something. I'm going to move back to Dr. Cumberbund.
Okay. I'm gonna try and I'm also gonna try and use my somnium necklace, but I'm gonna try and use my touch healing ability with it to try and heal myself.
How are you going to reach the necklace?
Ooh, didn't think that through.
I'd give him mine if he asked me.
Okay.
You can just say that. Yeah. I mean.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll ask Langdon. Langdon, kneel down behind me here and let me grab onto that necklace. I'm gonna heal you.
And I definitely do it. I'll do anything for the doctor.
Okay.
Well, I'm gonna use his somnium to try and do a touch heal on myself.
Okay, so as he kneels down, you fiddle with this thing, go ahead and we'll just make a check to see that you can like fish around in there in this combat situation and get access to the somnium. Roll against failure for that.
So I got 12.
12. Okay, yeah. So you fish around in there and you connect with this jewel, and so you can have a somnium spell like touch type thing.
2d6 heal. It gives me 8 HP, which takes me up to 9, including my...
Nice.
All right, Langdon. Say that one actually
realizing that I wasn't the one to heal.
Yeah.
I'm going to stand up and I'm gonna make a plea to the guards. I'm gonna say, all right. I've realized the error of my ways. I'll drop, and I'm gonna walk back over towards the cell where the past the shakers.
All right. So as you move towards the shakers,
And I'm also gonna say, sorry, can I rephrase what I wanted to say?
okay.
I want to try to say like, you've killed my brethren. I realized your power. I'll do whatever you say. I'll go back to my cage.
All right,
and I want to feign to him that Dr. Cumberbund's been killed down there.
Okay, the rakers the shakers they start kind of raking at you as you go over there, and you're gonna have to dip under him. So make like an evasion.
He doesn't
Or
have
make
any somnium.
I don't have insomnium on me.
Oh, that's right. Okay, yeah, that makes sense. So yeah, you walk past these guys, and they just kind of like meander towards you, and you go back to your cage there. And the guards, where are we here? Langton. Whose turn is it? Jerry, is it your turn?
Maybe.
I think it's your turn, Jerry.
Okay.
Jerry, as you're getting ready to execute your plan, yeah, well, no, just go ahead.
Okay, so basically, I charge the crystals so they will detonate simultaneously.
Right.
And then while the one guy's face is next to the door, and the other guy is in the corner with me, I want to. I'm touching the crystal on his collar, and then I want to give like a backwards kick and push him away from me and release the stone, kind of like a makeshift throw, since I can't throw with the way my hands are arranged.
Yeah.
So can I maybe just make a... can you sketch that out for us, Sam?
I think I generally understand what you're saying, but I'm going to...
So basically, the one guy's face is like right up next to me.
I get it, yeah.
Okay. Well, what do you want me to make, like a melee touch attack, or what, to kind of kick this guy away from me?
Well, first thing, I'm going to give both these guys an intelligence check to sense what you're about to do to them.
Okay.
Blow their heads off is what you're...
Okay. 2 and a 5. My unlucky dice. My unlucky. Okay.
Well, desperate, right?
What you going to do? Okay, let's do it. Let's do this. And so yeah, make a melee attack. Yeah, then you're gonna like be at disadvantage, but you're just rolling against failure. You're just discharging this. You don't really have a target. You're just like having it go.
Okay, so I'm rolling a disadvantaged roll against failure.
Yeah.
So roll twice.
Yeah. As long as you don't critically fail. Yeah.
Okay, I got a. Is this for the touch attack? Am I adding anything to it, or neither one was a one?
Yeah, so you don't fail. So you charge up this one, and then you like kind of abruptly like do a backwards kick, and you kick this guy against the thing. As he flies backwards, he like shouts out like, "Hey, what are you doing?" And then he doesn't quite finish his sentence as there's just and there's 2 bright explosions as these guys' heads blow off of their shoulders, and the door to the cage here blows open off its hinges, and there's another kind of small hole blow in the side, and as you do this, you hear the 2 Copper brothers shout out, "Oh my God, Mia!" And so yeah, these guys are both dead. And, yeah, the door's open for you, and
that's the ticket.
We're gonna move. And you hear Stephanie at this explosion. You hear Francesca kind of struggling and screaming. So let's make your check so it gets this thing moved off of her mouth.
All right, we'll see. Nat 20.
Ooh.
Oh, okay. So you quickly jiggle with this thing with your hands. You know, it's this like awkward position. She's like down. You're like reaching behind, and you're fuddling around, and you've got one finger in her nostril, and you're moving it. And then all of a sudden, you slip it out, and she kind of and it kind of dangles. It's now free on her neck. And she says, "Oh my God, what just happened over there?"
I don't know. Were you able to see anything?
I can't. I can't quite see. I mean, this eye. He really closed it shut. Thanks for getting that thing out. Baron thought I was a little too talkative.
How long have you been down here for?
I don't know. Time seems meaningless down here. There's no day or night. Days, weeks, I can't tell what's going on. I feel like I'm going crazy.
All right. Well, let's get out of here. I kind of thought that I would be taking the ball gag off of her, but no, it's still on her neck.
It's still on her, but it's just like loose around her neck now. It's like manacled, kind of manacled to her face. You managed to kind of like squeeze her chin down.
Okay.
And fluff it,
Okay. Can I examine the cage door? See if I see anything?
Yeah. So it's like a heavy wrought iron door, and as you kind of grab it and probe around in it, you find a keyhole around the other side, or there's a little, there's a manacle lock, not a manacle lock, but there's like a big iron lock hanging from it, like a master lock.
Sure.
Branded content. And you got another action if you want one.
Jerry, let us out. That's all I have.
Okay, and we're going to go back to Cumberbund down here. Cumberbund, this guy that's above you, he jumps down and he's going to try to boot you in the face as he's up here. God damn it. All right, so he jumps, but you roll deftly away somehow with your hands behind your back, and he misses you. These other two guards come up behind, though, and they're going to try to stab and slice at you as well. Holy shit, dude. 3 and a 5. Okay. So they're swinging axes, and you're like rolling back and forth over your manacled hands. You're kind of crunching your knuckles, but otherwise you're unharmed. And you hear the men above are saying, "Get out of the way! Get out of the way!" And it's your action.
Okay, I'm gonna make an effort to stay within the line of fire from the arquebus cannon. I'm gonna keep those guys between me and the cannon and the line of fire.
Okay, so you kind of roll behind here, and you're successfully doing that, kind of giving them the friendly fire situation. Okay, and I think that's gonna be your action. What else did you want to try to do?
Well, I don't know. I was gonna try and attack that archer.
Okay, yeah, you could kick out at him.
Yeah, I'm gonna try and roll into him and try and buckle his legs, I guess.
Okay, yeah, make an attack action. I'm gonna give you disadvantage on this.
Okay, 14 and 2.
Okay, so you kind of roll around, but you don't manage to sweep him. He's sidestepping you. Langdon, it is your turn.
I'm gonna now that I'm kind of over by the cage, I'm gonna turn around and try to rush that Somnium zombie that's right by the harquebus. Try to push it into the hot coals. Just kind of body slam it into the either into the hot coals or into the big pointy metal shit.
Okay, yeah. So you're going to rush it and try to push it onto this.
This tipped over. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, go ahead and make an attack roll.
I rolled a natural 16. What would I add to it?
Just like your strength, yeah.
My strength? Okay, cool. 1 second. So I got a 18 then.
All right, so you bash it, and it tumbles backwards onto the hot coals here, and kind of in a pile. It's in its listless kind of unmotivated form. It's kind of squirming, but starting to burn on these hot coals.
Sweet.
And with that, we move back to Jerry, Jerry, you got a wide open door there, bud.
Okay, so I am going to...
You bastard!
It was a mercy killing!
You can hear the Cropper brothers disgust as they're... Yeah, anyway.
Okay. I'm going to attempt to, or at least appear to, be trying to sneak out without drawing attention from the guards. I realize that's probably impossible since it just, exploded.
Right. Okay, well, we'll give you a check on it, I guess. It's gonna be a tough check. There might be a little bit of magical cover from the somnium smoke and the blood mist.
You want me to roll a a hide or move silently type check?
Yeah, let's do a hide check.
Hide check. That is a solid 9.
All right, so you you burst out from this explosion, and you're now kind of visible, and it would be hard to hide from the watchtower up there. You made a noble effort, but they see you and they say, "We've got another prisoner escaping!" And one of them turns and tries to fire an arrow at you. Critical failure. So one of these guys, I can't even believe it. I need to show you that. Can you see this? Probably not. Anyway. He rolled a 1. This archer, as he goes to fire, slips from his perch, falling. Stephanie, you hear a screech as this guard is skewered over the spike here, and his head dangles and blood drips from his open mouth into the cage that you are both occupying. And we're going to come back to that situation because we are going to finish Jerry's turn here. But Jerry.
Okay. Is there a way for me to maybe squeeze between 2 of the cells to get some sort of cover?
You could duck back in the corner.
Is there room between them? Okay. I want to get somewhere. I just want to get somewhere where I'm going to have some cover. So
you can duck
keep
behind
trying to point.
Brothers.
Okay.
So you run.
Yeah, I'm going to get back there, and I'm going to attempt to. So my hands are manacled, almost handcuff-like behind my back, right?
Very handcuff-like. Yeah.
I'm going to attempt to kind of squat down and get my hands in front of me by squatting down and then working my legs under, loop my manacled hands in front.
Take a dexterity check on that.
I got a 7.
All right, you start working on it, but you don't quite get it.
Too fat.
But it seems possible to you.
Okay.
All right. We move to Stephanie. Stephanie, this guard has fallen and skewered himself on the spike at the top of this cell. He's bleeding out, and he's trying to say something, but just gore is coming down from his mouth. He eventually goes limp with a bit of a jingle.
Oh, hell yeah. Stephanie recognizes the sound of the jingle. I'm going to go up and I'm going to look through. Yeah. Oh, yeah. She's singing now? No. I'm going to go up and I'm going to look.
Jingles.
I want to look through his pockets or on his belt loop. I'm trying to find some keys.
Make a perception check.
God, 17.
Okay, you see a set of keys on a little ring hanging from his belt, and the keys are hanging just a little bit through the roof of, the ceiling of this cell. It's a little bit too high for you to reach. And yeah, anyway.
Sure. Sorry, last question about her. Is Francesca? Yes. Is she also shackled behind her back, or was
she's shackled behind her back as well? Yeah.
Okay. All right. Okay. Well, I would try and reach them. I'm gonna try and reach them, even though it's probably a futile effort.
All right, so as you reach up behind you and you're like kind of like up in the corner on your tippy toes, reaching up like with your hands behind your back, Francesca says, here, and she gets on her knees and she moves forward on her all fours. She says, stand on my back.
Nice. I do so.
Okay, so you climb on top of her and you reach upwards and you can reach the keys and you grab them.
Perfect. Okay. I
we're gonna move back to the guards here.
Okay.
Or I think we did Cumberbund before the guards. Cumberbund.
Yeah. Let's see. I'm gonna.
I know we did the guards first. That's how it was. Sorry about that. The guard, this guy who you're rolling around with, he's going to try to. He pulls out a knife and he's going to try to stab you in the guts here. He gets an 18, so I would call that a success. Probably, right? I mean, you're on the ground.
Yeah.
He gives you a slash across the chest for 4 points of damage.
Okay.
And yeah, the other guards seem to be waiting like, well, no, these other two guards are definitely going to attack you as you're down there. They're going to try to spear you. Does a 12 hit you?
No.
Okay, well, they both got 12s. So they again miss you. You're rolling around. You probably roll under the platform there. So yeah, it's your turn.
Okay. Yeah. Upon rolling under the platform, I'm gonna keep rolling until I get to the other side. Until I get underneath where the ladder is for the tower.
Okay, so it's dark and hard to see, but you're gonna have to maneuver your way around the supports under this platform. So let's just do a dexterity check for that, and let's do it against a 13.
A 15.
Okay, so you managed to wiggle your way most of the way under this platform, and you can see through the cobwebs and the rat shit. You can see that ladder up ahead of you. Langdon.
I'm gonna go behind this other shaker and push him toward and try to push him towards the this guard with the bow that was on the ground wrestling with Dr. Cumberbund, and try to shove him in that direction.
Okay.
Do my old shove trick.
The shaker seems kind of listless, like it's like, you know, losing motivation.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, just tell me what you're gonna do to it.
Okay. I guess I'm just gonna like try to bull rush it and stumble it as far as I can take it. Hopefully being able to just like push the body on top of this dude.
Okay, yeah, make an attack roll.
19.
Okay, so you grab this thing by the arms and you start like basically running along and you toss it, and it kind of half-heartedly tries to stay up but falls and kind of tangles in with this bowman here. And yeah, he takes 1 damage from that exchange as this thing kind of smashes into him. And as this happens, you see that these two guards move out of the way here like this. And they jump down to kind of disengage the zombie there. Yeah, you could take a move action if you wanted.
Where is? I'm sorry, I left to go grab a beer. Where did Jerry Duster go?
Jerry escaped from prison and he moved back into that corner to try to get his hands out from under his feet and get them in the front of him.
Okay. I'm gonna holler for Jerry and move and just position myself at the harquebus and holler for Jerry to come this way.
Okay. And with that,
Or I guess anyone really. Because is Dr. Cumberbund's cell still open, or did they lock it behind him?
no, they locked that cell behind him.
Okay, I'm gonna
That's
just
what
holler for
Jerry's
Jerry.
behind right now.
Cool.
And as you're
I'm
announcing
underneath
this,
the platform there.
yeah, but he just meant the cell you were in, which was the Cropper Brothers cell.
Yeah, the Cropper Brothers cell. That's probably the better way to phrase it now.
As you're yelling this out, the guard on the platform with the arrow is going to try to shoot with a bow. Is going to try to shoot an arrow at you. I don't think that hits. 12.
I think I have a 15 armor class.
Yeah.
Give me a second. Fuck. Yeah, 15.
Okay, he doesn't hit you.
So it doesn't hit.
Jerry, it's your turn.
Okay. I'm going to, upon hearing Langdon's call for help, I'm going to make a quick one last attempt to get my hands in front of me, and then book it over to him.
Okay, dex check against a 13 here. Or dance to 12, I think I said last time.
Okay. I got a 19 this time.
All right, so you managed to squeeze your hands under your rump and get them out from under. It's quite a stretch, and you almost feel something pull, but you pull your hands free there, and you've got them in front of you now.
Okay, and then with that, I'm going to run over to Langdon.
Okay, so you cross the space here over, and you run towards and reach Langdon here.
You still have your somnium, Jerry?
I have no somnium.
On your neck?
Oh, yeah. So I guess, and with my hands in front of me, can I try and...
I think getting out from under your manacles and moving over there is your action. I was letting you have a little speech, but that'll be it. We're going to move on.
Yeah, that's mostly, I'm just asking you.
Stephanie, it is your
It's still on my neck.
Alright, I have the keys in my hand now, I'm guessing. I'm gonna tell, Francesca, turn around so that her back is facing me. And I want to throw the keys down and see if I can see any keys that matches what is tying her arms together.
Okay. Yeah, you've got like 3 keys on that ring. So you can't really tell what's going to work, but you guess it's one of these that's going to unlock her manacles.
Okay. In that case,
so I have a key in mind, so I'm going to call it 1, 2, 3 here.
Okay. Well, so in that case, assuming that we have the same manacles, I'm going to pick the keys back up. Francesca, put key 2 in your mouth and try to unlock my manacles.
Okay, so she listens to what you said. She does so, and with a click, your manacles come free.
Nice. Okay, I want to grab key 2 and unlock her manacles as well, if I can do that.
Yes, her manacles also come loose, and she shakes her palm. She says, "Let's get the fuck out of here." And you guys have. I think that's probably the expenditure of your action. So we're going to move back to Cumberbund, as he's there. I can't get a good angle of that, but he's there, tucked under the floorboards.
The guards are ahead of me, right?
The guards are on the opposite side of the platform. You've like rolled your way under, and now you're over by the ladder.
Yeah,
No, like in order.
it's the guards' turn.
Oh, that's right. It's the guards' turn. Thank you. So you see one of the guards. Well, you can sense that one of the guards is coming down the ladder on this. Oh shit! On this platform, you can kind of hear him clumping above you, and you see that basically this is a rope ladder with wooden planks across it, and it's pinned in 2 places into the stone with these big iron stakes. But like the rope goes down and is kind of pinned in at the bottom. anyways, just relevant detail as you're getting close. That guard starts to march down there. These two guards are going to engage with the shaker, and I'm going to say I hadn't made this decision ahead of time, so I'm going to give a percentile dice chance that they've got somnium on them. And I'm going to say that there's a 50% chance, so 1 through 5, they do have somnium on their person. 6, so they don't have a somnium on their person. They kind of just push this thing aside. This, sorry, I don't think I'm on camera here. They push this, wrong camera. They push the zombie aside, and they start moving towards Langdon. One of them throws a spear, and the other rushes forward with his axe. So
Sam, are you playing piano over there?
Spear chucker misses. Guy with the axe rolled an 18.
That's
So
a hit.
Bearing down his halberd. And that's 6 points of damage as he slices downward. Yeah, how you feeling?
Getting pretty spicy. Only got a couple hit points left.
Okay, so now it is Dr. Cumberbund's turn.
Yeah, I want to, upon hearing this, the voice of Reinhardt's daughter, I want to kind of see if I can perceive what's happening in Stephanie's cell.
Okay, yeah. You can peek out from under this platform and see that it looks like Stephanie and Francesca have managed to get their manacles off and are now working on the lock to the door.
All right. Yeah, I'm going to roll further towards the door, or towards the ladder there, and I'm going to try and get underneath the platform and roll up against their cell.
Okay. So let's do another one of these, roll around checks to wiggle your way there.
5.
Okay, you kind of get caught up on a spot, and you kind of have to double back, and basically you lose 1 movement's worth. So let's give it another movement's worth. So go roll again.
Okay.
Give you 2 move actions.
That's 10.
Okay, yeah. So you don't quite make it to the edge. You kind of make it near the edge of the. You don't quite get out from under there.
Okay.
Langdon.
I'm gonna try to spin the harquebus around towards this group of guards, mainly pointing at the guy closest to us.
Okay, yeah. So this guy that's engaged, you still got your hands behind your back, right?
Yeah. I just want to use my body to try to body slam it around.
Okay. Yeah, make an attack roll for that.
17 again.
Okay, so pushing, you spin this thing back so it points towards the guard, and I'm gonna give him a roll to kind of anticipate how he reacts to this thing being pointed at him. Tell whether he kind of reasons that it's not loaded or not. 2. He rolled a 2, so he kind of goes back on his heels when he sees this thing pointing at him, kind of instinctively. Yeah, you've got another action, a move action, if you want it.
I'm gonna just turn around and wink at Jerry Duster.
Okay.
Give me a old wink.
Jerry.
You know what to do.
Okay. Wait, was it loaded?
It is not loaded.
Okay. I'm attempting to free the somnium piece from around my neck.
You've got
to
your
load the heart.
Is that right? Oh no, you've got them in front of you.
They're in front of me. They're still manacled, but they're in front of me.
Right.
So.
Let's do a dex check against a 12 to wriggle that thing out from under your neck.
Okay. 17.
Okay, so you managed to pry and plop that gem out.
Okay. I want to load it into the arquebus.
Okay, and catchphrase.
Here's the ticket.
Here's your ticket. All right, so you hold the somnium up against the ignition crystal, and it kind of sucks it up, and it's like charged and ready to go. And I'm going to give a free action to Langdon to fire it if he wants to.
Yeah, absolutely, I do. Oh, sorry, I dropped my D20 under the bed.
Oh,
I did that earlier.
Oh, I've got another one. Oh, nat 20.
Okay, so you fire this thing, and it just blasts a hole straight through this guy. And as the gore explodes backwards, this blast also, this other guy's basically right behind him, and he catches a little bit of the force of it too. So I'm going to do 1d6 to him. So he gets another damage, and as the kind of the secondary, hit from the explosion hits that guy.
Sweet.
Stephanie, it is your turn, and you are there poised to open the lock to the door.
Sure, I'm going to try key 1 in the door.
Okay, you fiddle with key 1, it doesn't work.
All right, key 3.
Key 3 opens up this door, and it swings open, and you and Francesca anyways, is going to try to burst out here. I mean, she does. She walks out, and I'm assuming you do too.
Yeah. But I stay behind her.
Hey, let us out, please! You hear the Cropper brothers pleading to be freed, and they're jiggling their lock.
All right, I go over and I open their door.
Okay, so you open their door, and they spill outwards. They say, "Oh my God, thank you! We're saved!" And they prop out, and they don't actually have pitchforks and such, but
Okay.
Yeah, I feel bad because I feel like you keep on getting these short actions, but let's give you a little role play announcement here. So give us what's Stephanie thinking right now?
All right. I cannot believe the Baron fucked me over like that. And what did he mean by those comments? If it is literally the last thing I do, I am going to get him back. I don't care about anything else other than fucking that asshole over.
You realize after saying this that you did speak this aloud.
Oh fuck! I thought it was internal.
Perhaps because of the effects of the strange brew that you mentioned, the Luca brothers, the Cropper brothers, look over at you, and Francesca says, "Ditto." And yeah,
All right.
I'm with you, she says. And then the camera pans out here, and we return to Dr. Cumberbund, who is actually right nearby at your feet, and also hears this portentous pronouncement.
Oh, I'll help you fuck him over. Unlock me.
Dr. Cumberbund stands up from under the platform.
Undo me.
Yeah, I will unlock him if I can have that action.
All right, you unlock Dr. Cumberbund's. You unlock his manacles, and he drops them. And yeah, I think so. You both still have a thing around your necks, Francesca.
Yeah.
Francesca takes the keys from you, and she uses key number 2, and she unlocks the thing from around her neck, and she unlocks the thing from around Dr. Cumberbund's neck, and doesn't have to like finagle with the cylinder, just is able to pop it right open. Yeah, so she's got 2 somnium in her hand. But you can have your turn now, Dr. Cumberbund. An attack action.
Okay, but she's got my necklace.
She's holding the 2 somnium pieces in her hand.
Okay. I'm going to try and real quick turn over to Stephanie and be like, give me one of those. Try and grab the one that was on my neck and try and immediately throw it.
I don't have them.
I think the one is still on your neck, but Stephanie's got the two in her hand. Basically, she was offering them.
I thought you were saying that she had mine in her hand. Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna pull my necklace off now that it's unlatched, and I'm gonna whip it at that archer and those other dudes there.
All right. Yeah. So this archer's going to take he's got his bow load. He's going to try to fire at Stephanie, and he gets a hit, 18 actually. And as Stephanie is holding out her hand, she gets hit in the guts with an arrow, thump, for 6 damage, and she cries out, "Ah!" and the blood spills out of her mouth there. But you get your attack, and you make your attack roll against this guy.
That's a 10.
10 is a miss, but there's an explosion behind him, and the rope ladder kind of gets partially blasted apart, and you see this guard that was on his way down fall the rest of the way in kind of a heap along with those other 2 guards. And we move to Langdon.
Shit. I guess I'm gonna run over to what's her name, the landlord's daughter, Francesca, the landlord's daughter. He's not even a landlord. He's just a bar owner.
Kind of a landlord, I guess.
I'm gonna run over to Francesca and ask her to undo my ties, because she's the one who has the lock, right?
Here, give me that. She turns you around, spins you around, unlocks your hands.
All right, cool. And if I can, I also want to ask her for one of those pieces of somnium that she has.
Yeah, she gives it to you.
Okay, cool. That feels like all I should be able to do.
Yeah, I think so. Jerry.
Okay, so Stephanie has the key to this point, right?
No, Francesca does.
Okay. Who all's left?
There's a couple guards over here. I'll do a little zoom out.
Okay. So they're pretty much just over by the Somnium zombie. Then everyone else is kind of localized.
There's one more guard on the platform, and then there's a guard that's stirring in that pile. Those guards aren't necessarily dead, though 2 of them are pretty badly wounded. One of them just fell from the top of the tower, quite a distance. He's just kind of moaning. So yeah, basically there's 3 guards up right now.
Okay. I guess I'm going to go over to Francesca and plead to have her unlock my hands. Please unlock these shackles so that I might fight more furiously.
Okay, yeah, she unlocks your shackles, and she looks at you skeptically, and she goes, "Blow anybody else up," and she hands you the other piece of somnium. She seems begrudgingly grateful you did that, but
you got it, Toots.
Oh, now she blows you up.
And what's your action there, Jerry?
I guess I'm gonna go back over to the harquebus cannon or wand and load it up.
Your wand. Okay. So you jump over with your somnium piece and you charge the ignition crystal on the harquebus wand. And
okay, do I still have enough action to shoot it?
I don't think so. I think we're going to move on to Stephanie.
Okay.
Stephanie, Francesca says, "Quick, this way," and she gestures over to the underneath the watchtower, where you see these 2 well-trained dogs. These giant dogs are sitting stoically underneath. Basically she moves over there and then she kind of like, she's like, and then she's like, thinks better of it, basically. Never mind.
Man,
Seemed
okay.
like she was going after the satchel, but then she remembered that the dogs were there.
Going after the what? Sorry. Say
The hanging treasure chest.
Oh, okay. Can I try to go after that even though the dogs are there with some sort of I have like a hide ability.
Do you have any somnium now?
No, I don't because Francesca took mine.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, you could try to sneak past the dogs. They look like they're aware of what's going on, but they look like they're, I don't know, they're trained to stay and guard the chest.
All right, I want to try it anyway, but my D20 rolled under my bed and I don't have a backup and I don't want to use yours, Woody, because they seem to be rolling critical failures.
Somebody else can roll for you.
Yeah.
Holler.
I've got. Yeah, can someone roll for me?
I'll roll.
All right.
I got 7.
Okay, all right, never mind.
All right, you start
Dogs
sneaking
love me.
towards the dogs, and one of them, basically inches towards you. Its gigantic mouth curls back, and it growls at you as you get near.
Oh, hands up, and I slowly back away.
Okay, I think we go to the top of the order here to the guards. The guard that fell pops up on his feet and brushes himself off. And you see that they kind of gauge the situation, and they start to climb the kind of half-together rope ladder up to the watchtower platform. So they're currently en route climbing up. Those 2 guards, and then these other 2 guards, you see them. They kind of brush this Somni away, and they go over to the gate here, and they start tossing up the bar on the gate. Looks like they're fleeing as well. Things have taken a turn for the worse very quickly for them. Cumberbund.
Sorry.
All right. Yeah, I'm gonna jump up on the platform there, and I'm gonna grab onto the one remaining part of the connected part of the rope ladder, and I'm gonna throw my weight into it and try to shake him, and just try and fuck up their ability to climb the ladder.
Yeah, so they're climbing up, and as they get about halfway up, you jump up there and you start whipping this thing around. So make a strength check.
Cool.
Real good.
They're going to make opposed strength checks to try to stay on.
I got a 10.
Oh my God. 2 4s. Okay, double 4s. Deadly. I'm using different dice. I'm using different dice now. I don't want all my henchmen to just be that so they're up there, and they both start to lose their grip, and they fall down towards you. So make a dexterity check to sidestep them as they fall.
5.
Okay, they kind of land in a heap on top of you, and you take 1 subdual damage. One of them lands with a sickening crunch as his leg buckles and breaks, and the bone sticks out from his shin. And,
God.
And then the other one is just kind of in a heap, just moaning and holding his rope burn hands up in the air. And take an attack of opportunity if you like on the guy who's holding his hands up in the air.
I would like to, please. Yeah. I'm gonna
make some pronouncement first, though. We need a role play opportunity from Dr. Cumberbund.
I'm gonna jump up in the air and just drop down with my knees on his neck.
Okay. It's a strange attack.
I mean, it's not that strange. If I land on the ground, I'm gonna drop all my weight knee style on his throat.
WWE style.
I see, yeah. I just never thought of knees first, but I guess it makes sense, yeah.
Well, I mean, when you're trying to bash someone's neck,
You might want to just power slide into their neck.
Yeah, you just want to do the Michael Jackson, power slide into their neck. Go for it.
No, I'm standing over him, and I'm going to jump up in the air and then drop down on my knees It makes sense to me. I don't know.
WWE style.
I
Yeah,
guess I just never seen that move before. I'm not saying it doesn't make sense, or it's just yeah. Go for it. Sorry.
You don't have enough. You haven't watched enough pay per view.
Yeah, dude. Don't make me feel weird about it. 14.
All right. You got a D10. Roll a D10 for damage. This is a pretty vicious hit. It's very exposed.
That's the idea, dude. That's a D8. Hold on.
He's
All right.
got very pointy knees.
Did I mention that about my character? He's got pointy knees.
He's lanky. I mean, I imagine he's got pointy knees.
7 damage.
All right, so you smash your knees into his throat and just like basically crush his windpipe as his eyes like bug out of his head, basically. The sickening, just like a like that, like, and yeah, it's not. It kind of hurts your knees, but you know, no lasting, no real harm done.
Hurts my knees less than it hurts his throat.
Langdon.
I'm gonna run over to this archer that impaled itself,
Yeah.
and I'm gonna see if I can pick up his bow and arrow. His bow and arrows.
Yeah, you can. You
Cool.
get on your tippy toes and you grab, and you now have a bow and 6 arrows.
Awesome. I'm gonna do I have enough time that I could fire it across the room at one of the dudes who's trying to escape via the door?
I'm gonna say yes. You've been playing things kind of fast and loose. That's mine.
Cool.
So yeah,
I want
you take aim with your bow now, and let loose an arrow.
cool. 20 unnatural 20.
Unnatural. Okay, so you let loose an arrow. It flies across the fray and buries itself in the back of one of these guys. And I don't know what a longbow would be for damage.
I do because that's what my character usually carries. And I got max damage with.
Yeah.
I got 12 max
Okay,
damage.
so you hit this guy right in the spine, and he goes down with a gurgle, and he slumps over the bar here that they're both trying to pull out. And he's kind of clinging to it as he is in his death throes, keep preventing the other guy from pushing on. The other guy starts, yelling at him and pushing him off as he's there dying. And he, seeing that his escape is kind of compromised, he turns around and he's going to try to fire an arrow at Jerry, who's behind the cannon here. But he misses. God damn it. Okay, Stephanie.
It's my turn?
Is it not? I think it is.
I thought I went after Jerry.
After me is Jerry.
Yeah, sorry, Jerry.
Jerry.
What?
Jerry, you're loaded, trained on the archer who just tried to shoot at you.
All right. Here's Jerry, and I'm gonna fire because I can't. I'm gonna shoot his ass.
All right, roll your attack.
All right, I will. I got. Is this this is range touched?
Yeah.
Okay. I got a 14 total.
A 14 total. Okay, that meets it, so that beats it. So roll 2d6 for damage.
2d6.
Yeah.
I got 5 total.
Okay, so you blast him, and it knocks him back, but he's still up. And you see him kind of look both ways, and he drops his bow, and he jumps and kind of scrambles up on the platform. He's running towards the ladder as well. And with that, we will move to Stephanie.
Okay, can I try to tackle that guy as he's running towards the ladder? I don't have any weapons, so right?
Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, you move your way up to the platform, and just do a dex check against failure as you jump up there.
Can someone roll that for me? I've got a -1 on dexterity.
I've got it for you. You got a 14.
Okay, she hops up there, and you think you can make it to the guy before he hits the ladder. So we'll come back to that. When he gets there, we'll have you get there. So we're now at, I guess it's, whose turn is it? It's the guards now.
The guards, it's his turn.
As he reaches the ladder, you dive outward and make an attack roll on him.
Oh, that's me. Sorry.
Yeah, sir. Thank you.
What's your like strength bonus?
+2.
Cool, you got a 12. And then I don't know what your attack bonus modifier is, but
Oh, sorry, that was my attack bonus. My strength bonus is on a piece of paper.
Oh,
No, I don't know my strength bonus.
Oh, you don't know it? What's your strength?
No. On a piece of paper in this notebook that hasn't been relevant yet this game. Sorry. Hold on.
I mean, I think we did the thing for you that was like.
Oh, +1.
Oh, okay.
okay, so a 13
+1.
total.
Yeah.
Okay, well, you jump at him, but you don't quite connect, and you kind of fly past him and kind of land and kind of roll and turn around. You don't take.
Sorry,
any damage,
Caitlin, I tried.
but you missed him.
I appreciate it.
Dr. Cumberbund, this guy starts. He just kind of like disregards you, and he jumps up, and he's trying to. He starts climbing this thing as well. And it's your turn, Dr. Cumberbund.
Okay. I'm going to try and grab onto his lower foot as he climbs up. I'm gonna use both hands and try and just yank him down.
All right, so let's make a touch attack against him. I'll give you advantage.
All right. 2 14s. Wow.
14 is a match.
So that would be 16 with my strength bonus.
Okay, so let's make opposed strength rolls.
Okay.
Fuck, 5.
Hold on. Rolled off the table.
These dice are messed up.
I got 5.
5? Okay, so you guys are there pulling each other, but like you're keeping him stuck for the time being.
Beat it, dog.
And you
Not bet it.
and you hear some kind of the clanking of chains above, and you can see the elevator descending. Yeah, you can see the bottom of the elevator descending. Langdon, it's your turn.
I'm gonna fire. I'm gonna move to try to get a clear shot and fire an arrow at this dude trying to climb up the ladder.
Okay. Yeah, you get a very clear shot of him as he's going up there.
I think I only rolled 12. Yeah, I rolled a 12.
Okay, so you fire, but miss as the arrow buries itself in a plank of wood, like slightly above him. You have a move action if you want it.
No, I don't want it. I'm good.
Okay. No, thanks. We move to Stephanie once more.
Sorry, chewing. Where is Francesca at this point?
Francesca is standing behind Langdon here by the brazier, kind of here with the Cropper brothers.
Okay. I want to try to recruit the Copper brothers and Francesca to distract the dogs so we can get that chest.
Okay. Go ahead and say something to him.
Guys, we have to get this chest. This is where everything that is important that is down here is. If we can get this, we can get out of here with everything we came in with.
I'm guessing
I need
to address them.
Yeah, I need someone to distract the dogs so I can get past them.
Okay, make a charisma check.
Oh, I got a plus. I have a good charisma modifier. I have a +2. That's not as good as I thought it was. But will someone roll for me?
All right, take it against a 14 here.
I got it.
Thank
Sorry,
you,
you got a
Jeff.
6.
Damn
Sorry.
it.
I've been rolling really well with this dice this whole time, except for those.
Their cowardice seems to overcome your pleas, and they kind of slink back. Francesca, however, steps forward and says, "Shit, I'll do it." And she goes up in front of the things, and you see her pull with a kind of a tug. She pulls this guy down off of the spike, kind of ripping through his side, and she starts to whistle. She says, "Come here, big boys, come on!" And she tosses this body up in front of him. And I'm going to have her roll a charisma-based check to try to handle these animals. Oh, shit. Okay. Legit. Here, actually, I can actually show this.
I like her style. I was gonna suggest to use the Pancake Brothers as dog chow.
Here, I can peek through the curtain here, and you can check out. That is not the dice I rolled. That is the dice I rolled. It's a 1. It's a 1 is the gist of the situation. She rolls a critical failure, and as she goes up there and throws this body, the dogs growl, and one of them pounces out at her and attacks her.
Ew.
Where are my big dogs?
Yeah,
Okay, here we go. Where are my big dogs? She jumps.
I want to know where the big dog's at.
This thing jumps out and is going to attack her. And okay, well, I'm rolling my terrible dice, so it's all good. So yeah, this is now where I'm feeling justified in having a dice cam, or I need to have a dice cam. Here's my 4 that I just rolled. So it pounces forward, but she manages to sidestep, and she hides behind this cage as the dog is snapping at her. And the Cropper brothers both start running in the other direction here.
Woody, are you sure that those die go up to 20, or is it a 20-sided die?
It's 20-sided die.
2 lines, 2 4s.
Okay, so we're going to move back to the rest of the guards. You see this platform. I think that Dr. Cumberbund could probably see this happening. These other 2 guards are at the top, and they've pulled a lever to descend this elevator. The elevator platform falls down, and one of them hops on there, and the other guy says, "Hurry the fuck up! We're out of here!" And he reaches down to try to, gesture to the other guard that's climbing up. That guard is going to make opposed strength rolls with Fergus. He rolled a 2!
I got a 14.
All right, Fergus, you downward, and you pull him down, and you get an attack of opportunity on him as you pull him down here. He's down there.
All right, I'm gonna just stomp my shoes right on his neck again. I won't knee drop him this time.
I mean, knee drop him if that's what you're feeling. It seems
You got to use those pointy knees.
It did pretty well, but I'm just gonna stomp. I think I'm just gonna do a general stomp right on his nose.
okay. Make an attack on him. Take advantage.
That's a 5 and a 17. 19.
Okay. So yeah, you obviously hit. Roll some damage for that. I mean, he's. I think this guy's been hit before. He's hurt, and it's going to be he's prone. It's going to be a devastating attack. It's essentially a coup de grace. So you stomp this guy in the face, and he goes lights out. And as you release your stomp, the other guard turns and hops on the elevator platform, and it lifts up and off into the darkness above. And we still have combat here because we have a big dog in our midst. But I'm going to, as this dog is snapping after Stephanie, I'm going to.
Francesca, I'm fine, right?
Me. Yeah, Francesca, you're fine. I'm going to call a pause there, as basically wrap up the session there. So let's do a 1-2, and you hear cheers, but also cheers and squeals as these guys have ducked. The Cropper brothers have ducked into the somewhat exploded cage that the Cropper brothers have ducked into the somewhat exploded cage of the Chopper brothers, and they're hiding from the big dog there. And yeah, with that, let's do our once around, and we'll start with Jerry.
Okay, I don't know how we managed to get ourselves out of that one. I think the Chopper brothers, who I formerly referred to as the Pancake Brothers, rest in power. They made a noble sacrifice, and look at it this way: if if they had just been left in that cage, they would have been turned into Somnium zombies. But I kind of, relieved them of that burden. And yeah, some weight off their shoulders for sure. And also in the same instance, it freed me up to get some stuff done that I've been meaning to get around to, like helping my friends and. So all in all, I think it was a worthwhile sacrifice, and gladly eat some pancakes in their honor.
Okay, Dr. Cumberbund, as you wipe your red bottom shoe on the red carpet, go ahead.
God, that felt good. I'm gonna climb up that ladder, and I'm gonna get on that wand up there, and either I can shoot it at that elevator, or that dog's gonna get it. Either way, something's gonna get blasted. I'm fucking pissed. Yeah, that's pretty much all the doctor's got going on right now. He's in a state of pure rage.
Okay. Langdon, there's a... Here we go.
There are two things I like in this world: drinking wine and killing animals. And I haven't done either. There's a big fucking mutt behind me, and I am going to rip its skull out as soon as I can, and then I'll drink wine with the Baron, that heartless bastard.
All right. Stephanie.
All right. So I wonder if Langdon will save Francesca, or if that's on me. Shouldn't he want to save Favor? No, we have the same vendetta. I should probably do it. I'll save her. I hope that the rest of the gang realizes that they need to get that chest that she has cleared for them. And also, most importantly, and above all else, fuck the Baron.
Okay, and as the
Didn't already fuck the Baron.
Well, according to you, he's like my dad, so.
All right, you hear all of you as this freeze frame kind of ends. All of a sudden, you hear a scream above that starts small and gets bigger, and it's a 2-note a 2-note assembly, and the two men that had previously ascended on the elevator are now quickly descending, and with a 1, they land in your midst.
The what?
Hey, you cut out. Yeah.
That's the weirdest sound ever.
What did you hear?
It's like.
And it was right at the exact time with a.
With a 1-2, there are the two guards that had previously escaped by elevator fall from the ceiling and smash on the ground, kind of in the middle of the assembly here. They're dead right in front of Langdon. And you hear upwards the elevator coming down, chink, 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 and then you hear a shrill whistle, and the two guards' ears, or the two dogs' ears, perk up. And that's where we'll leave things right now. Okay. Nice work, guys. You really threw a wrench into all my plans, so I guess that's considered good D&D.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
This is a good session, though. I had a lot of fun.
That was a fun session.
Yeah, it was
I definitely was not my intention to. I mean, I try not to railroad too hard, but it was not my intention for the prisoners to escape this session. That was not really my goal, but we rolled with it because that's the way it worked out. And Jesus, I'm gonna have to really think hard about. I think I need to somehow exercise these dice because they were rolling.
You need to smudge them, dude.
Maybe I don't
There
know.
you
I'm gonna
go.
repaint the numbers on them or something.
Are they? Those actually dice are on countdown keeper? No, they make some dice that all the high numbers are on one side, so that you can keep count on them by just rolling it one over, and rather than the numbers being opposite from each other.
I think that is actually what's going on here, Sam, which probably had something to do with the low rolls.
Yeah, they're supposed to be, the numbers are supposed to be pretty even. Yeah, that's totally a counter.
The counters.
I've never realized that before.
It would be in chronological order, so 1 is right next to 2, is right next to 3, is right next to 4, and so on and so forth.
My God.
Wow, good call, Sam.
That explains my awful rolls. I've just been turning them over right to the same
Man, dice wizard.
Dice wizard, indeed. Holy shit.
What am I gonna do with these D20s now? I'm just gonna have to use them as props
Out
now.
with them.
You're
Yeah,
just going to keep
learn to count.
never use them to play
Time
again.
to Woody, you're just gonna have the time to your car hit, your truck hitch, and use them as big old truck nuts.
I've always wanted to do something similar to that. So.
Good idea.
Big geeky truck nuts.
What those are really for is for keeping track of hit points and stuff.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now I know. They're really. I keep track of hit points by failing to roll to save those hit points, so it works pretty well for me.